Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for part 3 of the Q&A. Yeah, I decided to do 3. I had enough really good questions that it's not a problem to do 3 of these today. So let me get to that first question. Hey Jason, I am a first-year university student and often stay up late to study and get up early for class. I want to start your novice 5x5, but I'm worried recovery will be a problem. Should I run your novice program and take out the shrugs and tricep extensions, or would it be best to run your linear hypertrophy program? Thanks, Jason. P.S. Your content's great. Keep it up. I actually wrote the linear hypertrophy program for people like you, who something about your lifestyle might mess with either your sleep patterns, your schedule, something like that, to where you might not be in an ideal environment for maximum growth. The novice program was written as an absolute maximum workload program that a novice should undertake. There is no way any more volume or workload or progression should be put into any program than what I put into that one for a first year lifter, and that was the point. It was for people who have a perfect lifestyle, who are willing to commit to making the most gains possible in their first year, and that includes an ideal sleep and nutrition environment. If you have a stressful lifestyle or a really busy lifestyle, that program is not for you. It's not for you, or someone whose genetics don't allow for average or better recovery. I wrote the linear hypertrophy program for that. Now, you might make just as much gains on the linear hypertrophy program. People ask me which one gives you better gains. It depends on the person. For a person in the ideal situation, the novice 5x5 will probably produce 5 to 10% better gains. For someone who's not in an ideal situation, you're going to burn out on it and you're going to make less gains. So if that's you, you're probably going to do better on the linear hypertrophy program. So it sounds like to me, if you're concerned at all about your recovery due to your stress, staying up really late, studying, things like that, go ahead and go with the linear program. You're going to be better off for it. All right, next question. Hey Jason, I have been doing 10 sets of 3 for my bench press, and it's helped me tremendously. I'm getting stronger with this program. Could I apply this program to other compound movements and receive the same results? Thanks. Well, if you've been keeping up with my own training, that's exactly what I'm doing. I've been applying it to 4 exercises. 4 exercises every week. And again, it's exercises I want to focus on heavily. And that's the thing you need to remember. You can really only get away with a system like this, the way I've been doing it, the way I recommend it, for core exercises that you really care about a lot. In other words, gaining maximum muscle and strength in all the primary movers of those lifts. Obviously, you wouldn't do something like this on a smaller exercise. There's just no point. But by that same token, an exercise you're not willing to seriously commit time and energy into, you wouldn't want to do that either. So that's the whole idea. It's a matter of how much recovery do you have? How much time do you have to put into it on different exercises? That's what you really have to ask yourself when looking at a system like that. And I am working on writing out a full way to do this sort of training for people in slightly different phases, and I'm probably going to break it all down and write it down eventually once I've experimented with myself and maybe some other people on the side. I do want to go ahead and codify a full system for this eventually, and I'm in the process of doing so. So yeah, it is totally possible, and the whole idea behind what I'm going to be incorporating is doing this on multiple exercises every week. Similar to what I'm doing right now. So to answer your question, yes, but you've got to balance it all out. All right, next question. Ideally, should you avoid lifting in front of a mirror, or does it not matter? From the point of a recreational lifter who is serious about strength and size, not necessarily a competitive power lifter. Well, that's kind of the point. If you're serious about strength and size, you can't afford injuries, right? You can't afford to learn bad form and bad technique that are going to get you hurt. It's not the mirrors that cause people to get hurt. It's watching themselves in the mirror and allowing their head to move accordingly. If you can see yourself in the mirror and it's just your eyes that move, and you don't allow your head to track your movement in the mirror, it's perfectly acceptable. It's people who turn their head in some way up or down to look at themselves in the mirror. The worst ones are people who stand to the side and turn to look in the side in the mirror when you lift. Those people aren't going to be in the iron game a real long time. All right, they're not going to be in it a long time. They're going to get hurt. But as far as that goes, that's the problem with the mirror, is that your head moves and it will impact the whole alignment of your neck, your spine, everything else. It will teach you bad habits because you're moving your head to watch yourself move in the mirror. If it's just your eyes and you happen to see yourself, but you're not watching yourself actively, again, because if you're not watching yourself actively, your head won't move to track your movements in the mirror, and you'll be fine. It's not a problem. The mirror is not the problem. It's people focusing on watching themselves to the extent to where they allow it to degrade their form, which means, again, they allow their head to move as they move. That's the problem. All right, next question. Hi, Coach. When should I rotate an exercise while on your linear periodization program? Also, how do you optimize your program for someone who wants to specialize on incline bench and chin-ups? Thanks. As far as the linear program goes, if you wanted to change exercises once every 12 weeks at the end of each set of mesocycles, because it's set up to run in big 12-week blocks anyways, it's set up to run 4 3-week blocks. You could change exercises every 12 weeks if you felt the need. If you get an exercise that you feel is getting too stale, maybe you're nearing overuse injuries, you could rotate it out. Now, how would I specialize for people who want to get really strong at the incline bench and chin up? I would have them do incline bench in place of bench press, and I would have them do chin ups in place of barbell rows. And then pick accessories accordingly. Pick accessory work accordingly, because there is room for accessories. You need to pick the exercises that are going to bring those up the most for your accessory work. Right? Isn't that the best way to do it? Maybe do some of your accessories with a little bit of incline dumbbell. Maybe some incline curls to help your chin-ups. Things like that. Pretty straightforward as far as doing that. Again, if you're going to run a program like that, it's written as a general off-season program. You can specialize it to your individual needs by simply rotating in a more important exercise towards your specific goals in place of one of the primary ones. Again, you could replace the flat bench with the incline. You can replace the rows with chin-ups. Right? It's doable in a system like that. You're working the same basic muscles. It'll work out in the end. You might not necessarily get the full carryover to the program itself, but you'll get better specialization in those particular exercises, which sounds like it might be your goal, so give that a try. All right, next question. Jason, do you ever feel like you're fighting a losing battle about health and fitness amid so much misinformation and almost willful ignorance? I've heard Eddie Hall on the radio in the UK state that fat is healthier to eat than sugar when asked about his apparent habit of consuming a whole cheesecake every day, and I wanted to scream. Does he really think the fat in these things is healthy and that cheesecakes are sugar-free? How can such nonsense be believed? Yeah, there are times when I feel like I'm fighting a losing battle, but then I realize I'm really not. I took a big hit with this whole unpopularity campaign against me. I really did. But you know what? Since I've kind of focused and hammered down and worked harder at what I do and promoting myself and getting my message out, my channel's grown, my outreach has grown, my subscribers have come back, they've come back up, they've been moving forward. And I keep that hidden, but they have definitely increased. I get well over 1 million views a month, so I do have outreach, and I don't feel like I'm fighting a losing battle, maybe in the grand scheme of the fitness world, but the way I look at it is at a certain point, you can be the grain of sand that tips the scale, right? And that's the way we have to look at things. And I've come to realize and accept that I actually have a big outreach. A lot of people hear me, and here's the thing. It doesn't end with me. You know what? I can put out a message all day long and I'll get 1 million views a month, eventually 2 million views a month, maybe 3 million views a month down the road. People say that doesn't change the whole industry. But if it influences future influencers, it does. I said that wrong, influencers. Okay, but it does, because if I inspire a few thousand other people to make a change, and then some of them start their own media. They start their own media, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or whatever's going to come next, because YouTube's not going to be the be-all. There's going to be other things that come out as technology arrives. Believe me, 20 years ago, we never envisioned YouTube as a platform like it is. No one envisioned that, but it's here. In a decade, we don't know what platform's going to be here. And if I can help enough other people develop a better mindset to get around all this stupidity in the industry, then those people will go on to be influencers also. They will influence people. They'll have their own followings. We fight ignorance with education. You fight stupidity with sound logic, and you keep speaking and you keep reaching out till you reach enough other people that those people do the same thing. And it's a chain reaction. And you have to think of it from that perspective. What if, out of all the people that I inspire and teach them just a better way of looking at this and to think past the stupidity, what happens if I influence one person who 3 years from now continues to learn, goes on and starts their own outreach that ends up reaching 10 million people or 20 million people? Then that difference happens. It might not be me directly, but it's the influence. And that's all any of us can do, is to play our part in trying to make things better. And if enough people just give a damn and try to dispel the ignorance and the stupidity in this particular community, if enough of us put in the effort, we will eventually be successful. All right, and eventually these supplement industries and their garbage is probably going to collapse in on itself. Give it time. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.